Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Jewish morning meditation. I am David Eli Grundland. Here we go. So we're still in the midst of Birkat Torah. Birkat Torah, if you remember, is how we start the day. And it really is all about the way we approach our day, that every moment is an opportunity for meaningfulness and learning and growth. And we start off saying some brachot to really bring it into our lives. We just went through the Birkat Kohanim, 3 lines from the Torah. The first thing we do after saying these blessings about learning Torah is we recite 3 lines of Torah, which are all about really bringing ourselves into that mindset and recognizing that the ways of Torah are peace. I didn't say this, but her ways are ways of peace, and all of the paths lead to peace. Sorry, the pleasantness, and they lead to peace. And that was the last bracha, says that we should lift up our faces, and by lifting up our faces and seeing the world around us and recognizing the meaningfulness around us, that is how we achieve peace. And now we move on to the Mishnah. The Mishnah is the first compilation of rabbinic teachings based on the Torah. And the Mishnah that we go to is from Masechet Pe'ah, which talks about the corners of fields, etc., and leaving that for the poor. And this is how it begins. It begins with these words, Elu dvarim she'en lahem shi'ur. These are things for which there is no measure. And we're going to go ahead in the next few days and list some of these things. But I just want to think about this statement. These are things, these are matters that have no measure. When it comes to learning Torah, there is no measure. I can never say I've learned it all. I can never say I know everything. Even about any particular subject, I can never say I know it. The greatest masters in any field, the greatest doctors, the greatest rabbis, the greatest scientists, they all will tell you that the more they have learned, the more they recognize they don't know. And the reason that is because Elu dvarim she'en lahem shi'ur. These words, the words of Torah, the words of contemplation, the words of introspection, the words of growth, the words of spirituality, these worlds are infinite. And that's the point. The point is that it's something that I can never attain fully, but it's something that I must always look into, and I have to look deeper into it on a consistent basis. And the more deeply I approach it, and the more deeply I look, the more I will find. And so it always bothers me when I watch somebody who talks about, what the Bible says, and they talk about it in a very negative light, and you hear the way they speak, and they're very shallow about what the Bible says. And obviously, they're not going to see much there because they've never looked more deeply. And when people reject one person's opinion over another person's opinion, or it's always because they haven't looked deeply enough. If we look deeply enough into all the opinions out there, we can always find that kernel of truth. If we look deeply enough into ourselves, we will always find that spark that we were brought into this world to shine forth and to bring to everybody else. Something that Rabbi Nachman teaches very importantly. He says in every person, especially in ourselves, we have to look to find that single spark. He says the person can be the most depressed in the world, but the moment they find that little spark of goodness, all you need is one. And on that one spark of goodness, we can sing and dance for our whole lives. Ein lahem shi'ur, even that one spark is infinite because you can penetrate it and look more deeply into it and always find more, not just a spark, but fire. Just to date ourselves, we are at Lag BaOmer 5779. This is the day to not just find that spark, but to ignite it into a giant bonfire and to shine that light throughout the world. Have a great day. Lag Sameach. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon.